New format, Andy.
Is there?
New shirt, new format.
I wasn't in that meeting.
We don't invite you to the meetings, mate.
Look, let's be truthful. Last week you exposed me. Everyone's been coming up this week saying,
Oh, yeah.
how's the little crew going?
No one, huh?
Yeah, well, there is no crew. So this week, the joke's on you, mate. If there was a meeting and I wasn't there, I wasn't in it, must have just been little Mitchy Jones by himself.
Having a chat with myself, huh?
Just having a chat with yourself, having a coffee with yourself, planning with himself.
Every now and then.
Writing
I
the
let
show
Andy
with
have a
himself,
little moral
talking
victory
about
so he doesn't
the
get
Boy Scouts.
sooky lala during the
Cannot
week.
believe it.
8 games, 50 seconds.
This is Inside 50.
Oh, don't buddy.
Doc 1, Mitch none.
Oh my god, see what I have to work with. Anyway, Andy, seeing as you missed the meeting, I think I'll fill you in. The new format is we are going to squeeze this thing into 10 minutes, so let's get to it, mate.
Righto.
And avoid the rants.
Clock's on, Mitcho. Essendon Bulldogs on Friday night.
Well, Essendon finally win 2 in a row, Andy, albeit against Richmond, but won the game in the first quarter and just did enough after that to hold on to it.
Yep.
Bulldogs starting to find some of that scintillating forward that made them real contenders last year, and they
Sure
will be
are.
loving that Barry doesn't have to spend a week on the sidelines after his headlock incident.
Mhm.
Just quickly, Doc, did the match review panel make the right call?
Common sense.
Not for me, Andy. He needed at least 2 weeks on the sidelines. Yeah, the umpires missed a few cheap shots late against Big Baz, but he isn't the law, and he took it into his own hands.
True.
Not for me, that one. Headlocks are very dangerous. My old man, Petey Jones, who's not a big man, but he used to put me in... Sorry, Dad. He used to put me in the old headlock or two, and I'll tell you what.
Hey,
they
no ranting, you said. Come on. This is cutting it down this week.
Okay, righto,
It's not
righto.
your weekly counselling session.
Oh, that was in confidence. Anyway, the Dons are
that
looking
meeting.
not too badly at the moment. Ryder and Hill seem to be the in-form ruck duo over the comp and will be absolutely vital to Essendon's final tilt
The
this
Dogs.
year. The Doggies. Well, they've got 6 or 7 players who are absolutely class, Andy. 6 or 7 real workman types as well.
Mhm.
A very solid back line. Lots of avenues to go, and they should be a little too good for the Dons, but expect it to be a tight one.
Dogs 139, Dons 315. Dogs should win, but the Bombers loom as a bit of a danger opponent. Maybe the Bombers at the line.
Don't mind it. Let's go to Skilled Stadium, Doc, and talk about the classy Cats and the Never Say Die D's. Before we touch that, though, Andy, can the D's make finals this year?
In a word, no. Next year, yes. Year after that, flag contenders.
Wow.
Well, Geelong returned to the Cattery on Saturday, knowing that they're still comfortably best team in the comp.
Definitely.
Cats were really only at their optimum for 2 of the quarters, really, and Melbourne had a great win up north, but this will be the real test for them.
Oh, no doubt about that.
It'll be a great test for their defence, which at the moment is, I reckon, in the top 5 or 6 defences in the league,
No, it's very good.
and about under 22,
Couple
and
of great
only
stoppers.
getting better. So it's the midfield and in attack that I can see them getting absolutely pummeled. Jamar's been fantastic this year.
Nearly all Australian?
Almost,
Up there.
and you'd have to say he'll get the better of Blake, but the real test will come with Ablett, Selwood, Bartel and co around the ball.
Chappie and all those boys.
The Ablett saga continues. Quick one for you, Mitch. Stay or go? Good to see Trengove
is
and
this what
Scully
we're doing tonight?
committed to the D's for 3
sure.
years. Maloney's gotten off his charge, so he'll be playing his 100th against his old team down at the Cattery. Cats by 7 or 8 goals. Can't believe they're $1.05. Melbourne are much better than that.
Oh, yeah, but they haven't lost a game there for 3 years, Andy, and
Good
Geelong should take care of that comfortably. Next game up is Port and Richmond Amy. Richmond definitely improving. Rewalt is starting to look very good, as is young Angus Graham in the ruck, and could be an absolute Supercoach steal. Maybe downgrade Ruckman to young Angus before he rises in price, especially with Simmons announcing his retirement this week. Port Adelaide should be too good, though, but will be missing speedster and playmaker Daniel Motlop following a breach of pre-game policies.
Bit of a booty call there, Mitch.
The old Dawn Fraser manoeuvre.
Breaststroke.
No, she was famous for loving a bit of a before a big swim.
Bit of doggy paddle.
Oh,
some might call it.
Mind out of the gutter, Andy, and let's go to Etihad Stadium.
Before you told me.
Didn't I? And moving over to Etihad Stadium for the Saints hosting Adelaide.
Saints need to take care of business in these ones with Rue out still, Mitcho.
Yeah.
Will this week's incidents shake them up? I don't think so.
Me either.
But expect it to be close. Obviously, the Crows have been criticised for their lack of pace and run this year, but the Saints aren't the speediest team going around either. The other Saturday night game, Mitcho, Collingwood faced the Lions at the Gabba.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Andy, it's funny. All the questions surrounding Collingwood after losing to last year's premiers now. Before the game, I was hearing Dawes and Cloak, they're working perfectly together. So many avenues to goal. Such a
Wrong.
widespread of goal kickers.
Wrong.
The best youth out there.
Wrong.
All of a sudden, we're hearing...
Zach Malthouse, I heard.
You heard that?
It's disgraceful.
Okay, well, there you go. That's a big one.
Talk
Well,
back for it.
hasn't won a grand final for
Has
a
it?
very long time.
Has it?
No. All of a sudden, those things that I was hearing have turned into, Dawes doesn't do enough, and our little guys don't step up in the big games, and we lack the experience and all of that sort of thing. Don't worry, Pie supporters. I'll tell you what, you're back to where you should be. You're the equal top challenger with the Dogs, but the Cats are way out in front for now for me.
Good call.
Beams went and confirmed that he is the absolute informed youngster of the competition.
In more ways than one.
That's a little bit of innuendo and gossip there from Andy. He almost got them back in the game single-handedly. He was electrifying just before half-time. Let's talk about Brisbane. Brisbane won all the key stats last week, Andy. Possessions, tackles, hit-outs, clearances. They did not win contested possessions, though, mate, and we know how much that counts. 5th week in a row, they've lost that key statistic, and they were a long way off again. A team that prided themselves on hard ball in the early 2000s when they won those flags, all of a sudden looking a little bit soft. Andy, I want to put this to you. They've got North and the Bulldogs that Eddie had in their next 2 rounds. They could be 4 and 8. Now, I know that's a big call, but they're definitely missing Drummond off half-back. Brennan's run through the midfield. They're in massive trouble, and I'll tell you what, if they don't get up...
Collingwood 130, Lions 410, got to move on. Probably steer clear. Maybe the Lions at the line, 4-goal head start.
I'm staying away, Andy. If someone told me the Lions won, if someone told me Collingwood won, if someone told me Collingwood blew away, I believe it all, so I'm not going to touch this one.
No worries.
Let's talk about my boys, the Hawkers, who have shortened from $9 into $2.20 to make the A. They're playing the Swans at the G, Andy.
Yeah, are they back? I don't think so. Even though they were good last week in patches, they still rely far too heavily on the likes of Buddy, Roughhead, Hodge, Mitchell and co.
Yep.
You can't win games every week on the back of 5 or 6 stars. Burgoyne fitting in perfectly, very smooth operator.
Love the helmet.
The tyre.
I love it.
That's shocking.
Fantastic.
They'll be borderline 8. Sydney,
It's
they're
Louis
the opposite.
Vuitton, that one.
Sydney are the opposite.
Saint Laurent.
Heading downhill, Sydney.
Okay, sorry about that.
Bolton, Seaby and Bradshaw and Kennelly, 4 huge names, 4 huge
Big
outs.
names, yep.
Mumford and Sons returns this week after a bit of a hiatus, courtesy of a wrong decision at the match review panel. The key to this game will be intensity. Sydney's is hardly ever questioned, but if Hawthorn bring the same intensity they did last week, they'll be too classy all over the park. Are the Hawks a chance for the 8? Mitcho, your thoughts?
If they win this one, statistically, they're right back in the hunt. However, to convince me they're going to have to blow the Swannies away, I don't believe they will, though. Swans will try and play this game on their terms. They've always been very good at that and don't often get blown away. Mummy's a big in, but not as big as losing Canali in the back line.
Tell me about Freo, Mitcho. Word is on the street down at Gary Davies' TAB Sports Bet that you had a little dabble on the Dockers last week against the Swans.
A significant dabble. I knew they would do it, mate. And they're going to handle, I'd say they'd handle it very comfortably this game. Top 4 side, definitely. Potentially a top 2 side for me, Andy. If they can handle themselves on the road this year, not many people are going to beat them at Subi. 7 wins already, 6 more games at home. If they can pinch 1 or 2 away, they're going to get their home final, mate. They're going to be dangerous, I'd say.
Like it.
North, on the other hand, they're a very interesting team. I find I can talk myself in or out of North every single week. The big problem for North is going to be, though, that they're up-and-coming team, no doubt about that. The other up-and-comers, Essendon, Carlton, Melbourne, I think they've all got a bit brighter future, and it could be a long time before North plays some pretty serious finals football.
Freo are $1.15, absolute moral. Throw them in a multi for a bit of extra value.
I like that, Andy. Now, will your Blue Backers bounce back against the Coasters,
the Blues need to bounce back, Mitch, after a very disappointing performance last week. One of the most exciting things about this game is the matchup between 2 of the best young ruckmen in the comp. Nick Nat versus Sammy Jacobs.
Oh,
what a
that's
matchup.
a bit rich. Come on.
Okay, Nick Cruz and Nick Nat. It's going to be a sensational battle. Is he overrated, Mitch? The Dockers said this all year, that people are just packaging together his highlights and they're jumping the gun.
I'm going to put this to you, Andy, because we are running out of time. Ryder, Cruiser, Tippett or Nick Nat, who would you take to a finals tilt in the next couple of years? You definitely wouldn't take Nick Nat. You take the other 3 before them. Let's talk about the Blues quickly.
Whoa, the Blues' depth will be tested, but they got some key ins.
Look at that.
At the moment, from my best 22, they're missing Walker, Bauer, McLean, Houlihan, Lucas, and Yaron, but they're also missing White and Johnson.
They've got some numbers to come back, no doubt about it.
Of those 2 expected back, there's 2 of those expected back this week, which will boost them. If they bring their intensity, they'll win the game because their midfield is too good. If not, it's a bit of a danger game for them. Love watching the Frenchman Lacroix play, and I also love watching Big JK, former Blue Boy himself.
Want to have a big game against them?
I reckon he'll want to.
Tip, Andy.
Blues, 5 or 6 goals.
I think it'll be a little bit closer than that, mate. My favourite segment.
Viewer artwork of the week.
Got to squeeze it in quickly. Here we are. We are in Paris. We're with Carmichael Hunt here. Carmichael Hunt's about to propose. He's about to propose to his new French girlfriend, Michelle. But look who's on his way. He's down on one knee. He's got the ring out.
What are you doing?
Scotty Thompson, what are you about to do, mate?